So give us a picture then of what demand looks like through the holidays and what your ability to meet that demand looks like.
Absolutely. So as we've gone through the last several months, we've actually continued to see increased demand for meal kits and for meal solutions at home. And it's getting even more interesting going into the holidays as people are thinking about new ways to celebrate, and they're not quite sure how it's going to look this year. It's going to be more smaller gatherings. You're going to have a lot of people who are sort of cooking for the first time. So we wanted to make sure that we're ramping up to meet all the different needs as we go into the colder months and continue to expand. So as we started ramping up our capacity, at the same time, we were also ramping up product initiatives. And those product initiatives add a lot of complexity because we want to make sure that we're offering our customers things that will help them retain, stay, and then also help acquire new customers as they see the new features and the new flexibility that we have in the service. So as we were doing that, we were sort of doing those two things side by side in order to help build capacity while also building that variety and those new product innovations. And now that we're getting into Q4, we're really starting to ramp up even more so on the efficiency around some of those new product innovations so that we can continue to meet demand as we get into even further double-digit growth in Q4 and then even higher double-digit growth going forward from there in Q1. So we're seeing a lot of opportunity to ramp up and be able to make the best use of the people on our team to bring people more food during the holiday season in more different ways.
That said, shares have tumbled over the last couple of days. Why do you think that is?
So I think that there's obviously a significant amount of opportunity out there. And of course, we want to take advantage of it as quickly as we can. And so I think it's really more about the pace at which we can grab a hold of that demand. And that's really what everyone, including people in the company, are looking to do as quickly as possible. Obviously, safety is our number one concern with our employees and with our customers. So we want to always ramp up safely. But the interesting thing, as we look back over the history of Blue Apron, we were the first in the US. And so our fulfillment was a lot more complex when it came to labor. It was more labor dependent. And then over time, what we're going to be doing is continuing to actually find efficiencies that make us less labor dependent, but able to expand at the same time. So it's really just about how fast we can actually make that expansion while still making sure that we're putting in those product initiatives that really work for long-term, profitable, scalable growth.
We're seeing COVID spike in different parts of the country. We're also heading into the winter months when many people are expecting to see a flare. How is that impacting your ability to deliver and keep your workers safe?
So again, safety has always been our top priority. And the advantage that we have is, given we are a food facility, we have a lot of safety standards already in place. And so we continue to make sure that we're enhanced as far as our safety standards to keep our employees and our consumers safe. And so those continue to accelerate, but that's actually an area where we've had such strength for so long. We're an SQF certified facility and have been for several years. So that part is really just about making sure that we're maintaining that environment and continuing to enforce social distancing and everything else that we do in the facilities already. As people are, staying home more and more as it gets colder and it gets harder to go out, outdoor dining becomes a bit more of a challenge. And again, you layer what I was talking about earlier, which is people want to celebrate holidays and they're trying to think of how to do that. So what we're really looking at now is all those different solutions, including the Thanksgiving box that we just launched, as well as Thanksgiving a la carte on our core menu, and other solutions that let them have celebratory meals in a safe way at home through social distancing, or other sort of chances for the family to come together during the winter. And so that's actually really, we're balancing those two things. We've introduced a lot of those new product initiatives to make sure that we're meeting people's needs. And at the same time, we've already started to see significant improvements on efficiency when it comes to employees per line, when it comes to our UPH, our units per hour, and how many boxes we can pack at a time. And as we continue to simplify the structure of the fulfillment center for long-term growth. It isn't just about optimizing for now. We see this demand going into next year. And so we want to make sure that we are continuously ramping up to get as much advantage of that as possible and also serve our customers best.
That Thanksgiving box sounds pretty attractive right now, working and schooling kids from home, Linda, and I'm sure some other parents would agree. There are cities starting to open up outdoor dining, limited indoor dining. How does that impact your outlook for next year and how demand changes? Like, what is permanent new demand and what could go away as life returns to some sort of new normal?
The internal and the external research both say the same thing, that people are going to be cooking at home more, even as things start to open up. However, I also think that particularly for Blue Apron, we're known for having meals that have unique layers of flavors, unique ingredients. It's part of our specialty is that we're introducing people to new ingredients and techniques. That tends to actually mesh very well with people who also enjoy going to restaurants. So we see very, very positively an association. It's part of the reason we do the chef partnerships that we do, is because the people who love Blue Apron really love those unique flavors that we bring and the unique culinary experiences. And so we think that there's lots of opportunity ahead, and we definitely see demand continuing to a certain extent, even at heightened levels as to what we assumed before, because of the fact that people see that connection between restaurant quality meals at home and also the opportunity to every once in a while dine out. So for us, it's really about,
Okay.
we don't want to just take the stress off. We want to make sure that you actually get